Yeah, so when I was 17, I lost my virginity to my soccer coach.
Wait.
Tell us more about that.
Wait a minute.
How did that transpire?
I mean, you mean the things that we read in the news that they get put in jail over?
Yeah, and it turns out he's also a teacher, which I knew he was a teacher. He just wasn't my teacher. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
How old was he?
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the number one sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad.
Marcus.
And Lily.
The rodent-infested world of sugar dating.
Oh, maybe, but the shocking stories
I turned it dark.
of sugar dating. I don't even want to go there.
I feel like there's been a lot of rodent-like...
Well, what she's referring to is her car. She came out to her car and it was full of codes and the power steering wasn't working. They found out a rat chewed through her electrical.
Yeah, in my car.
That's what you're referring to,
Well,
right?
and also, I think it's highly appropriate because there have been a lot of rodent-like men on Seeking lately.
That I can't disagree with.
The girls have been sharing stories on our WhatsApp group. Mm-hmm. I'm like, where are all these rodents coming from?
Oh, that's right. They've been sharing screenshots of messages they get.
Yeah.
Man, we got to do better. We
Gotta do better.
All right, but before we get to the show, we've got some cool things in this show. So we're going to make it quick. If you have not applied for Sugarpalooza 5 yet, you are running out of time. I'm trying to think when this episode come out. We're 2 or 3 weeks delay on it. So yeah, it's getting really, really close. The weather is going to be beautiful. Always great this time of year in Arizona. But if you want to go apply to the party, all the information is at our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com. Press on the party tab, and you will find that the package includes 3 days and 2 nights of accommodations. It includes a mixer at the W. We've got that suite all lined up.
Mm-hmm. The
Bad
sweet
Brad.
suite.
Yep. And then we have a pre-party at my house, which is kind of nice. We get some food and drinks before the party bus rolls up. Now, you just reserved the 50-passenger party bus, didn't you?
I did.
Now, this thing's the size of a Greyhound bus, like a full-size Greyhound bus.
Yep.
And it is...
With not one, but 2 stripper poles.
LED lights, music. It's the only way to go to a concert. To see Shakira on her world tour... 2 private suites right next to each other. Food and drinks included there. We got a buffet. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of good things on the buffet last year.
Yeah, we can't eat too much at the pre-party because the food last time was really good. They even had prime rib.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good. The deal is when the party bus takes us back to my house, whatever's left over from the pre-party just gets inhaled. Everybody has the munchies at midnight.
Because they work up an appetite dancing on the party bus on the way home.
Right, and then we'll have a brunch the next day. Take people to the airport that need to head back home. We got a lot of people staying the weekend. This is a unique party because it's on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Mm-hmm. Most of them are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the weekend. But this one's kind of unique because we can't control when Shakira visits Phoenix.
She picked a good time.
Well, she picked a good time of year.
Yeah.
But a Thursday is a little tough. But our party's full. We got plenty of people applying. I mean, we're going to sell out, or we're going to basically issue every single ticket, up to 50 tickets. To that suite, so it's going to be another big one. I know you were like, can we have a smaller party?
I sure did request that.
That last one almost got out of control, but I just can't help it. People apply and I want to say yes.
Well, by the end of organizing those suckers, I am exhausted, and I have to go from that party weekend to birthday party weekend for my grandkids. So, God,
now
I'm going to need a vacation after that.
Now, if you do apply for the party, we do give priority judging to the people that are members of our Patreon. And it costs nothing to become a member of our Patreon. We have a lot of free options. I threw something out there free today. So we don't ignore our free members. You get a lot of little tidbits of information. But to get the full effect, we have tiers starting as low as $10 a month. That unlocks the entire site. You get the community chat. You get to see lots of fun behind-the-scenes photos and videos we do not post anywhere else. the extra sugars and the episodes we put on there before we release them to the public, so you get to preview those. And then we have perks. We throw in perks all the time, and there will be more perks. And then also, if you want coaching and profile reviews, we have that option available. I think you're working on one right now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure am.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple.
You know, we've had
I'm waiting for some responses to some questions before I can really pull it together.
Lily's really good at that. And then I actually was on the call with one of our members for like almost an hour. And I was coaching him through some situations. And it was really funny because these situations he was bringing up, I've gone through every one of them. So I feel like I gave him some good advice. But we're happy to help coach you through these situations. The site can be tricky, but there are a lot of good people on the site. We actually have somebody in our studio today from our Patreon group.
Yep.
And she messaged us and said, hey, I'm going to be in Phoenix this time of the week, and we weren't even scheduled to record today.
This is an extra episode.
This is an extra episode, and I'm glad that we were going to do it because we were able to have lunch with her and her friend who is also here, and she was a member of Patreon, and she just wanted to come by and say hi, and here she is. So welcome. What are we calling you again?
Sage.
Sage.
Sage from...
Well, Sage from... I don't know if she wants that part in there, but...
East Coast.
Yeah, we'll bleep that part out. So welcome Sage from the East Coast and Tyler. Is that what we're going by?
We're going by Tyler. Yeah.
Going by Tyler.
Also from the East Coast.
All these aliases. We got to use aliases. You know, one day we won't have to, or there's some that don't. I still use an alias. Lily, obviously an alias. We just kind of have to talk in, I don't know.
Code,
I guess. Anyway, Sage.
Yes.
I want to apologize for one thing.
Okay.
It is so fucking hot here.
It is. It's a little toasty.
Last week, we had temperatures in the low 90s, which maybe the rest of the country, that sounds hot. That is absolutely perfect paradise for us. It's like 110 today.
So freaking hot.
Matter of fact, this is a record. We have never had this high of a temperature this late in the year. So you're getting experience. But you said it didn't feel bad to you, huh?
No, that was Tyler.
Oh, that was Tyler. She's like, how do you get through the summers? Well, it's like this every day. I mean, if it doesn't feel bad to you today, this is what it's feel like every day in the summer.
Tyler's currently from somewhere very hot and humid.
Yeah, you're in a muggy environment.
The first time I went to the Grand Canyon, it was July, and we hiked it at like 115 degrees.
Wow.
Oh.
After surviving that, I feel like I could do anything.
Okay, so I have a lot of questions for both of you. We're going to start with Sage. So Sage is actually the one that's doing sugar dating. Tyler is not. Tyler's just her best friend, good friend.
All
I don't
of the
know.
above.
A friend.
They don't want it to be labeled.
Yeah, it's not labeled. They've been friends for a long, long time.
Since childhood.
All right. So Sage, give us a little background. So something really cool is today we were able to buy lunch for birthday girl Sage. It's a big number for you. It's a transition.
Yeah, 3 decades.
Yeah, so she just turned the big 3-0 today. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm
Although, self-admittedly for you, and I didn't have to say it, she still looks like she's 12. And she gets that a lot, don't you?
I sure do. Yes.
Yeah, you are blessed. Yeah, you are blessed to have the young baby face, right? Right, Lily?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very blessed.
So, how long have you been sugar dating?
On and off for 10 years.
10 years. You
Yeah.
got started young.
Yeah, on Craigslist.
Whoa. All right, already information I didn't know. This didn't come out during lunch. Okay, Craigslist. You're not the first person who's told us this, by the way, but I want to hear more.
Yeah, so early 20s, undergrad, college, I put some stuff out there just to meet people, and I ended up meeting someone that I was in a relationship with for like a year and a half.
Off Craigslist.
Off Craigslist. Before that, though, I did meet some other guys that I was seeing for a few months at a time, and it was just really transactional, so I ended that eventually.
Okay, you know what? We got to go back. I want to take it back further because now I'm really intrigued. Growing up, so you have a tiny frame and you're very cute and very attractive. Petite, yeah. I'm sure you had some relationships when you were 15, 16, 17, right? 18. What was that like for you?
Yeah. So when I was 17, I lost my virginity to my soccer coach.
Wait.
Tell us more about
Wait a
that.
minute.
How did that transpire?
I mean, you mean the things that we read in the news that they get put in jail over?
Yeah. And it turns out he's also a teacher, which I knew he was a teacher. He just wasn't my teacher. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
How old was he?
35?
Oh my god.
Was he married?
No.
So how did this whole thing come to be?
It was definitely a little flirty, starting probably when I was like 12. So definitely too young. And it was probably like a grooming experience. I just didn't know at the time. But I was always, I guess, attracted to older men. Mm-hmm. And at one point, I just told him I wanted to lose my virginity. And he came back to the U.S. for that.
He came back to the U.S.?
He was living abroad, yeah.
Oh. All right.
So you knew him from the age of 12?
Probably even younger than that, yeah.
And he was always in the role of a coach?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow. Did anybody else find out about this?
At one point, I accidentally let it slip to my mom when I wasn't entirely, I didn't have all my faculties. I let that slip, and then a lot of other things slip. All the trauma just kind of came out.
And what happened with her?
My mom?
Did she freak out? Did she call the school? Did she?
Oh, no, that was like 4 years ago that
Okay,
it came
so
out.
it was
Way
later.
later. But she kind of always knew something was up.
Mm-hmm.
She thought he was a little too friendly, and she was right. Whereas my dad had no idea because my dad was actually the assistant coach.
Oh my God.
You know, she's like, I don't really have anything to talk about. I don't know what we're going to talk about. Oh my God. You floored me. I'm almost speechless. So what are your thoughts? Were you happy about this? Did you feel taken advantage of? Where are you at it with this whole thing?
At the time, I didn't feel like I was taken advantage of. I feel like I wanted it.
So
and
you kind of actually opened the door, I guess would say. Mm-hmm. Made the hints that you wanted to do this.
yeah. And I guess in some states, 17 is legal, right?
Well, I mean, there's plenty of kids having sex at 17. I mean, when I was 17, I had a 17-year-old girlfriend, and it wasn't illegal. But if I was 18, I guess, and she was 17, it would be, huh? So it's like this really weird.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the state.
Yeah. So that's when you lost your virginity. And what were your thoughts going forward? Was this something that you wanted to pursue with him, or it was just kind of one of those things that you wanted to get over with?
I guess I just wanted to get it over with.
Yeah.
Because I know the first time wasn't going to be particularly good. So
From what you'd read?
I read. And I've always been a very sexual person. Mm-hmm. Like I actually started masturbating at like age 4.
At 4?
Yeah.
If you guys saw this girl, this woman, you would never believe the words that are coming out of her mouth. Right, Lily?
She's just so adorable.
I know.
Cute people can be hypersexual.
Yeah, yeah. So this is not the first time I've heard something from it. I actually had a fiance who had a similar story about when she started discovering herself sexually. And it was very young, like 5 or something. I mean, I can remember in 5 being fascinated by women's parts and, in preschool and wanting to see them. But I didn't really know what I was doing, obviously.
I knew what sex was by the time I was 5.
Now, how? How did you know that?
I asked my parents, I think. They gave me a book.
Yeah. I didn't have the resources that they have now called the internet. You can find anything on there. The kids know way too much these days, right, Lily?
They do. They know more than I do.
I know. So, okay. So you've always been a sexual being, which, no shame, God created humans to be sexual beings.
Yeah. And for a while, actually, I wanted to be a sex therapist.
Meaning what?
I wanted to see individuals who were maybe in like the BDSM and kink community, who were ethically non-monogamous, who had sexual experiences from a really young age that maybe they weren't proud of. Mm-hmm. Kind of unpack some of that sexual trauma. Okay.
Very interesting. Wow. I didn't expect the interview to go this direction so quickly.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
let's move on. So you lost your virginity at 17. Seeking was around 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Had you just not heard of it yet, or you didn't know where to go?
I think I made a profile for one day, and then I got scared. And so I closed the account. And for some reason, I thought that Craigslist was more anonymous and safer.
And safer.
I'm not sure why.
Well, I mean, you were 20. All right. So what kind of experience do you have there?
So one of the experiences that still stays with me, I always gave fake name, relatively, I guess, a little too close to my name in retrospect. Somehow he found me years later and he messaged me through Facebook with my real name, and I was like creeped out.
Yeah, that could be scary.
Well, here's the thing, and I talked about this a couple episodes ago, I think. I'm getting friend suggestions. You know how on Facebook says, hey, you might know this person, of people I've done a meet and greet with. And I'm like, what the are they seeing this on their side?
Probably. Which is
that's
scary.
scary because I gave them also an alias. I gave them my name, Marcus. I used my Google Voice number. They don't have my real information. They should not know me. Yet they're popping up as a friend suggestion.
It's scary.
Here's what I'm really confused about. I don't know anything about how you do sugar dating on Craigslist. So what section of Craigslist is set aside for dating? And is it specifically sugar dating, or where were you putting your ads, I guess?
Somewhere in the personal section. It was a while ago. I know I would put the ad up. There was no pictures or anything.
Yeah.
I'd give, I think, a fake email, have them message me through that. If they sent me a picture, I would send them a picture where you couldn't identify who I was. And it was, my ad though would sometimes get taken down because certain, I guess, words got flagged.
What did you say? How did your ad read, do you think?
Oh, this is a decade ago. Young female college student looking to be spoiled. I think the word spoiled might have triggered it. And that's when it would get taken down. So I had to go in and kind of.
So you know who did that also? Moon, who came to our party.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I interviewed her, she had first used Craigslist many, many years ago, and she would target guys with dollar signs or something in their ads. I don't know. She had a way of figuring out.
Now, wait. Is Moon her real name?
No, that's her alias.
Okay, good. I thought that was her real name, and the other one was her fake name.
Well, if it is, we'll do some research and we'll bleep that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've heard of that before, and, and she has some varying success with that, met some interesting people. How did you find out about Seeking, or when did you jump back on there?
It was a good 10-year gap.
Really? Mm-hmm. So just recently then you've got on there?
Just recently. I just got out of a pretty serious relationship, my most serious relationship.
Was it engagement, almost marriage, living together?
We were living together, and then there was a ring that was in the family and sized for me.
Really? So what happened?
Very codependent relationship. And he just had a lot of growing to do and still does.
Same age as you?
Yeah, within a year
Close.
or two.
Now, when you say codependent, expand on that. What's your definition of codependent? What was he doing?
So he basically took on all of my hobbies, for example, which we might have to bleep that out because that's very specific. But if I were to ask him, what would he like to do? He wouldn't really know. And he just hung out inside all day. And I don't know. It's hard to explain. Codependency is often tied to addiction, which...
Yeah. So did you feel like you were responsible for his happiness?
Yeah. So I felt like his mom a lot of the times. I would do all the cleaning. He did the cooking, which was great. I appreciate that. I'm also a good cook, but he enjoyed it. So he did that, and I took care of our pets, took care of the apartment, and I just kind of resented him for it. And I also felt like I was his therapist, and he would just talk at me, I guess.
Did he have dependency issues with substances at all?
He did previously, yes.
Okay, so he was a recovering addict,
Yes.
and you became his new addiction.
Exactly. The other curveball is that I'm also in recovery myself.
Recovery from what?
From marijuana, actually, which most people don't realize that you can get addicted to. But you can.
They say you can't, but that is false.
It's a lie. And
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, they've legalized it everywhere, so it's so easy to get.
yeah. Alcohol is legal too.
True. That's true. Okay. So you got out of this relationship and then you've hopped on Seeking. How's your experience been?
It's been pretty good. I've been on there for a few months. A lot of meet and greets, I guess, that didn't go past, one date. Yeah.
Compared to the girls that I've seen on there, she's a gem.
Oh, she's gorgeous. But
Yeah.
think about how many meet and greets you go on till you find somebody acceptable to date. Mm-hmm. It's hard.
Yeah.
I was having this conversation with Trucker the other day, and I was like, I might have gone on a second date with maybe 1 out of 20 or 30 meet and greets.
No.
Yeah,
That many?
I think so. I did a lot of meet and greets.
Lily always likes to say she got to kiss a lot of frogs.
Yeah, I did. I kissed a lot of frogs till I found my Prince Charming. But yeah, I would go on sometimes 1 meet and greet a day or 2 meet and greets a day. Yeah. And it didn't go anywhere.
Right. How'd you find the podcast?
Research, I like to, if there's a topic, I tend to get very involved in it and do all my research. And on Spotify, that's how I found y'all.
Oh, you found us on Spotify? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you've listened to a few episodes. You joined Patreon. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And then you messaged us and said, hey, I'm in town. And here you are telling us this crazy story.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got to keep going back to Craigslist.
Okay.
So you put this ad out on Craigslist that you were a beautiful young girl looking to be spoiled. Did you find any solid sugar daddies from that Craigslist ad?
I did, yes. So the one that we were in a relationship for like a year and a half or so.
What was that like? What was the age difference?
Let's see, I was 20, 21. He was 52, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So obviously a big gap. For a while, it was all a secret. I didn't tell my parents anything, but I was eventually tired of lying to them. So I told my parents about him and I brought him home.
What'd your parents think?
They just wanted me to be happy.
Your parents sounded awesome. Are they that same age?
No, they are older, a little older. Yeah.
They're a little older than,
Probably like
than 50s.
Yeah, so right now, they're in like late 60s.
Okay. Interesting. That's so interesting. Your parents seem very nurturing and understanding and open-minded about educating you about things that you're curious in.
Yes, they are.
And they're
sound incredible.
Super supportive. Do you want to talk about the fact that you're adopted?
I can. Yes.
Tell us what that's like.
It's tough. I always get asked where I'm from. And no one ever thinks that this is not going to make any sense. But
well, when I tried to guess where she was from, I completely got it wrong. I got a little bit of it right, but
most people think
it was
I'm
difficult.
mixed.
Yeah, she has a really pretty Asian look to her. Mm-hmm. Very exotic.
Yeah, it's super attractive. Okay, I want to talk about. She mentioned too that she was on FetLife.
Yes, I was on FET.
So, what were you searching for there?
It was a little bit of just personal curiosity, but also if I wanted to go into that line of work, I needed to understand it better as well. And so I got on probably right before the pandemic and went to what they call a munch, which is like a get together. So FetLife is for people who are into the BDSM and kink community. And this town that I currently live in is kind of known for that. Mm-hmm. So I was able to meet people. Nothing really came of it. I did meet someone in another state. We never actually fully met face to face, but he was very kind, very supportive, almost like a gay best friend, but he wasn't gay.
Gotcha.
Which I think turns out he was attracted to me. And at some point when I told him there was no like physical intimacy that was ever going to happen, I haven't heard from him since.
Yeah.
What was the dynamic like with your 50-something-year-old sugar daddy? Was there allowance involved? Did he just spoil you with trips and adventures and dinners? Or because you dated him for long enough to introduce him to your parents.
Yeah. No, it wasn't like a traditional, I guess. It wasn't an allowance. That was kind of before I was either comfortable with that or I knew what it was, I guess. It was just a lot of shopping trips and fine dining, and eventually he did meet a couple of my friends and they didn't like each other, so that should have been a red flag.
How did that deteriorate?
I was about to graduate undergrad. The plan was to go to a very rigorous graduate program in the medical field, and I just knew I wasn't going to be able to maintain a relationship and go that route, so I ended it.
Was he heartbroken?
Yes, and I had to block him.
Oh, gosh.
You did?
Yeah.
Because it didn't end well?
Because he just kept reaching out to me and asking me to like hang out and, you know, check in when I was home. And I told him, no, like I'm done. Please. You know.
When I was 21, I had a summer fling with a much older man who was in his 40s.
Summer loving.
Yeah. And then when I started back to university, I broke it off with him because I knew I wanted to date. I didn't want to just be committed to this old guy from California. And he was so upset with me. Oh, God. He did not take it well.
I feel like I never do.
So I can only imagine your guy.
First time I've heard that story from you.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
He was a musician.
Yeah?
And I met him on an airplane.
Really?
Yeah. I think I may have told this story before, but
I don't remember.
this episode is not about me. So we'll bring that up another day when it's just the two of us.
All right. Well, Sage, you've brought up some very interesting things, but I do want to get over to your friend Tyler.
Yeah, Sage brought a friend.
Yeah.
They're actually, can I say what you guys are doing in Arizona?
Yeah, we're here for like a holistic adventure.
Holistic healing.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I'm excited. You'll have to let us know how that goes because we get a lot of people. You know, I talked about the MITT, kind of the seminar, self-awareness training. I don't know what you call it, but the thing that we went through, and it was really transformational. And Sedona is a big hotspot for these retreats. So I really want to hear how it goes.
Yeah, we'll
Let
definitely
us
keep you
know.
updated.
Yeah.
Either of you girls been to Sedona before?
I have, which is how I found out about it.
Oh, so Tyler's shaking her head. She's never been.
Yeah.
You're going to be blown away by the beauty. It's so pretty there.
I cannot wait.
You know, they talk about the vortex, this energy. I thought it was a bunch of bullshit for like the first 5-6 times I went. But for some reason, the last few times I've been there, I'm starting to feel it. There is some energy there that it's hard to explain. I think you'll have a great time there. Okay, Tyler.
Let's hear about Tyler. Tyler is not now, nor has she ever been, a sugar baby, right?
No, I'm just here as a supportive best friend and overall just really curious and love to keep learning and educating myself. And I'm grateful to be here today.
So Tyler has a wife.
I do.
Now, you're very attractive. Have you dated men?
I have. She's actually the first woman I've ever dated.
Boy, really?
Yeah.
So, okay. I got so many questions for you. It's because it's a world that I don't understand, and so I have lots of questions. Even though we've had plenty of gay, lesbian, trans on the show, I just don't understand that world because I'm not built that way. So, to our listeners, we try to get all perspectives, whether sugar dating or not. At what point did you say, fuck these men, I'm going to the other side? Or you just met somebody with a personality that you really, really fell in love with? What happened here?
No, that's a really good question. I guess it was the pandemic, honestly. And I think it's always been something that my queer identity, like when we met when I was 12, I would have
Sage,
never...
just to clarify, Sage.
Oh, sorry. When Sage and I met when we were 12, I would have never seen myself even getting married to a woman. My friends have all been gay growing up. I've always been the one straight girl in a pod of trans, gay, lesbian, however you identify. But I never considered myself attracted to anyone else besides men. But now, honestly, going through this retreat and this healing and looking really inward for the past 6 weeks, I realized that I think that I shoved it down so far and I disassociated so much because I saw all of the bullshit and all of the hate and trauma that my own friends were going through. And I was almost like, I can't touch that. And even my parents, they were like, oh, it's cool. But I'm reading body language. I'm looking at tone. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that I can't subject myself to that right now. I'm just going to look the other way. And fingers crossed I'm bi, you know, and I can find a man and everything will be fine. And in the pandemic, I was like, no, this is not it. I've had many failed male relationships, and I realized that it's always been me because I can't find a deep connection there. And I went on Tinder. I told absolutely no one. My parents were living nearby. My mom was going through chemo at the time during the pandemic, so I had to be really locked down. There was 1 week where, I don't know, the stars aligned. I wasn't going to see my mom. My sister was out of town, who was my roommate. And I was like, I got 7 days, open up Tinder, flip that little toggle or whatever over to women and just like, let's get to work.
Yeah.
And she was the first person that what do we swipe left now?
Swipe right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
She was the first person that I made any contact with, that I went on a date with. We had to do it in the pandemic in our apartment. You know, we just had like an intimate dinner, and I was like, this is going to be really, really weird. Yeah. But it wasn't. And I shut my Tinder down a couple weeks after that, and I never looked back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So how long have you been together then?
4 years.
And you call her your wife. Did you guys have an actual ceremony? And,
Yeah, we were actually married.
And your family came and they were supportive?
Yeah, we've had 2 weddings and we'll have a third. We eloped ourselves, and that's when we actually got married. We did a ceremony. Again, this is all during the pandemic. So we did a ceremony at my parents' house. Her family is international. So we did that, maybe 20 people.
I was there.
Sage was there with the old boyfriend.
The old guy? Or the codependent
the
guy?
codependent guy.
Oh, goodness.
And then we will have a third, much bigger wedding with her family overseas as well. So 3 ceremonies, 1 legitimate marriage, and just having a lot of fun. It is really fun. I don't know how it is to be like married in a straight relationship, but I have a lot of fun with her. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You found your person.
Definitely.
Now, how old is she and how old are you?
We're 1 year apart, so I'm 29 and she's 30.
Nice. Now, do you guys want children?
Yeah, I think so. She definitely does. I definitely agreed to the children thing when we got married. I was like, if you get her, then you take that commitment. But yeah, I'm confident. I've known since I knew where babies come from that they're not coming from me. I knew that from day one. It's like one of my first memories.
That's a really good choice, let me tell you.
That's kind of like my co-host Amy. She was like, no,
it's just not for me, but I'm so down to be like the cute daddy on the side with the ice chip, pacing the room, whatever they do. I'll be that.
Whatever they do.
That's a good choice.
I'll be that person.
Coming from someone who has given birth, good choice.
All right.
Let her do that.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
So you don't really know much about sugar dating.
I don't, only through Sage, actually.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts?
My thoughts always automatically, I guess, go to the logistics. So more of the conversations of allowances. And even from my perspective now as a lesbian, if I wanted to get into this field, is there sugar mamas?
There are.
Yeah.
There absolutely are.
Yes, there are.
And how
There's
do I
also
find them?
scammer mamas on there too.
Yeah. Sugar mamas are a little tougher to find.
Is it like an untapped market, or are they just not there?
It's just, they're like a unicorn almost. They're there, but they're just hard to find.
Yeah.
And I've done some interesting episodes where I had a gentleman, this was back when Amy was my co-host. He was in law school and had a girlfriend. She encouraged him. He had a lot of debt and needed some help financially. So she encouraged him to get on Seeking and find a sugar mama. But all he had reaching out to him was other men. So he ended up trying it. It was a disaster for him. But he was like, God, I really hope a woman reaches out. And he's a good looking guy, but he just couldn't find that elusive sugar mama. But also,
I don't know if Seeking is the place to go looking for a sugar mama.
I've also had girls I've met on the site. This one particular girl, she's bi, and she would go on Seeking as a sugar baby, and she would go on there as a sugar mama. She had a very good job. Matter of fact, she was the owner part owner of a bar and she was making really good money. So she could actually financially support another girl, and she enjoyed doing that. So it's out there, tough to find.
So from my perspective, actually, I am queer as well, and I have mine set to men and women, and it's nearly impossible to find a sugar mama.
Have you ever had one reach out to you?
I've had a few, and they're all several states away. And I message them back, and I'm asking them, are you going to be in my area? Otherwise, like, what's the point?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I see a lot of profiles on there from the girls that say men or women, either one.
That's mine.
I just was wondering if women actually reach out or not.
What were you going to say, Sage?
I was going to say that I've had better luck with couples.
Couples.
I keep seeing that more and more on
Yeah, a lot of
Seeking.
couples,
The
yeah.
couples.
I've met up with a couple of couples.
So how does that work? Are the allowances coming from like their joint account, or are you like?
It's a good question.
No,
I want to know that too.
That is a good question. In one instance, I believe it was the male. It was definitely a sugar baby, sugar daddy dynamic. And
In the marriage?
dating, not married.
Oh, they weren't married?
Not married, but they were together they've been together for several years. But yeah, so he was a doctor, or is a doctor, and so he provided that. And then there was another couple where I think they just both did well, and so she's bi, or recently discovered that she's bi, and they had kids from other marriages, and it didn't go past the meet and greet.
Oh, it didn't.
I think he was maybe a little more attracted to me than the wife would have liked.
Yeah. I can see that being a problem.
Yeah.
I can see all kinds of problems arising with that if you're not really super confident in yourself and confident in your relationship. So there's a scam recently that a couple of our associates, our family, our Patreon family, have encountered. And it's this older Black woman who advertises herself as a sugar mama on Seeking, and she's reaching out and she wants to do an online relationship with them and is willing to give them $2,500 a month and just give me your PayPal information and we'll get this party started. And they're posting it on our little girls group and they're like, is this a scam? Oh yes, this is definitely a scam.
Is this a scam?
They keep seeing her.
So they're just posting that. What's that? We need to put that on our Patreon.
Yeah, it's in the WhatsApp group. I can ask them
Yeah,
if they mind
yeah.
if we post that.
Yeah, because I haven't seen that one. But yeah, we try to expose a lot of the scammers. Unfortunately, with the financial component involved, they come out of the woodwork. And, you know, I read that Extra Sugar. I think you actually listened to it about the girl saying, well, you know, be nice to them because they're in sweatshops and they could be killed if they don't get the money. And I'm just like, yeah, but they're bugging the fuck out of me because, you know, these are obvious scammers and it's just big red flags. They've flooded the site.
So what is the scam? Like, what can they do with your PayPal information?
I don't know.
I mean, PayPal's probably linked to your real phone number, maybe your email.
I don't know. I'd like to know. So if you listeners have been scammed by giving your PayPal or Cash App information, let us know. Because I know somebody brought that up in the community chat. They're like, hey, I've actually met this guy in person and now he wants my Cash App. That's not a red flag. I pay people through Cash App.
Yeah.
So if you've met them in person, then I would go ahead and give them your Cash App. There's really no danger in doing that.
Some of the girls are just too terrified to do anything other than a cash transaction. They're just so scared of somehow somebody tapping into their bank accounts, I guess.
Yeah. So Tyler, when somebody says sugar daddy, sugar baby, what comes to your mind?
A luxurious experience. Definitely some spoiling involved.
What do you think it is? What do you think's going on there?
I don't know if this is going to sound like bias or something, but my immediate thought is the girl wants to get spoiled and have their nails done or clothes or whatever. And the man needs to feel macho, needs to, I don't know, feel like, you know, like it's great to take care of somebody. We all love to take care of somebody. And I feel like there's also could be a big companionship, wanting a deeper connection, wanting to have great conversation. Maybe that age gap brings them to a point in their life where they're able to think about when they were 30, think about offer advice, offer wisdom, and be
Like a mentor.
like a mentor. There can be a hierarchy, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on, you know, what you're looking for. But that's kind of what comes to mind.
So is there anything negative that comes when you hear it? For instance, I got a voicemail the other day, and I've talked about this, where some anonymous lady decided to tell me that my sugar baby is only with me because of the money. Yes, you are correct, ma'am. That's how I got her.
She really got under
That's
his
the whole
skin.
point of the thing, is because there was no way she was going to swipe right on me on any other app. So I had to bribe her to go out with me, but it's turned into a relationship, and now it's been 2.5 years.
That's beautiful.
And we were exclusive for a while, and we'll probably be exclusive again. We're not now, but we're enjoying each other's company more than ever.
And she said you were disgusting.
And she said that girl was basically, somebody that could be my daughter, and that's disgusting. Does any of that come to your mind when you see an older guy with a younger woman?
No, I honestly, at the end of the day, age is just a number. And I feel like it's really what you put out there in terms of your energy and what you leave behind in the world, whether it's a great conversation or a piece of advice or something. But at the end of the day, if you're happy, do whatever the hell you want. If you're not doing any damage to anyone around you, if this relationship is not doing damage to yourself or to the other person, and everybody is getting what they want, what's the problem with that? Everybody should just mind their own business.
So what if your friend Sage here, who's 30 now, tells you that she's dating somebody that's like 65 years old? Are you going to judge her?
No, but I've known Sage for a long time. And when she told me she was dating somebody at 12 who was
35 or whatever, yeah.
There was also, among us, there is no judgment. For me, it's always about, are you safe? Are you happy? And that's truly all that matters for me. That's all that should matter to anybody, in my opinion.
Right. So I guess in the sugar dating world, basically we use our finances as our cheat code. And we've always talked about that is probably the hardest part of sugar dating, is coming to an agreement of how I'm going to compensate this person for their time. People like to equate it as prostitution. It's sugar baby. It's just code for prostitution. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't agree with that. I feel like prostitution is much more transactional. I don't know. Maybe we open it up for the discussion here. But from my perspective, prostitution is much more transactional. But it's also, at the end of the day, if you're being safe and if everybody's getting what they want, there's a lot of places where it's legal. For sugar dating, I feel like there is that emotional connection. There's other things that are not, typically I would imagine there's other things that are not physical that are happening, right? You're going out to dinner and you're spending like more quality time together than I would imagine maybe a prostitute and their client.
Well, prostitute, they pretty much won't turn down a client.
Also,
It's here's how much it is for this sexual act. And it doesn't really matter what this person looks like, whether they like him or not. Mm-hmm. Sage, have you ever gone out with anybody and you're just like, nah, this is not going to work. I'm not really into this guy. Have you ever had that experience where you've done a meet and greet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's
right.
Probably why most of my meet and greets don't go past meet and greet, because I'm just not emotionally, physically attracted to them.
My point exactly. Now, if you were a prostitute or you were desperate for money, all those meet and greets would go great, because I'm sure every last one of those men would like to pursue something with a hottie like you. And you're just not willing to settle for that because you're looking for more. You're not just looking for compensation. You're not just looking for luxury experiences without the emotional connection.
Right. Yeah, I think sugaring has a bad rap. It's a spectrum, like a lot of different things. So sugar babies can treat it more like prostitution, where it is very transactional. Mm-hmm. And I think that usually happens when they are in a situation where they do need the money desperately, or they need it to survive, essentially, for their basic needs. And then the other spectrum is truly just emotional connection with someone who's more mature, because guys, as we know, mature later, much later than women. So
yeah, I always equate this as, now that I'm in my 50s, I feel like I'm a senior in high school all over again. Because when I was a freshman, and we'll equate that to the 20s, I couldn't get anybody to go out with me. It was really tough because the girls don't want to go out with guys that young. They like the older guys. So it's been really nice for me, because after my divorce in my late 40s, I'm like, oh my God, I've got wrinkles. My beard has gray in it now. and I'm balding. Who's going to want to go out with me? Oh my God, I didn't know this was like Disneyland. I mean, it's been the best dating period of my life. I've had so many choices of good quality people. So I can see why, and I hear this all the time in my meet and greets, and then people I actually get in arrangements with, they're just like, I cannot date the guys. They're just too immature. They haven't accomplished anything. They don't understand relationships. Whereas hopefully the older men have learned a few things. Now, that's not always the case. I'm sure you've met some guys in their 50s and up that still act like 12-year-old boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
We get that a lot. But that is the beautiful thing about this lifestyle, and it's just misunderstood. But when I was a senior in high school, I dated freshman girls, I dated sophomore girls, I dated junior girls. I didn't date a lot of senior girls because they like the college kids. They like the college boys that were a little bit older. So it feels almost the same, just on a grander scale.
Yeah, there's certainly still a stigma associated with it. But, 10, 20 years ago, there was a stigma associated with addiction and mental health. And
yeah,
we've come a long way since then. We still have a long way to go. But
well, hopefully we're making ground on becoming more and more acceptable. And maybe one day everybody is like, fuck these aliases. We don't have to hide behind fake names and fake numbers, but it is what it is for now. Like, I'm in a very high profile position with my business. It's very public. My number is out there. My face is out there. And somebody could really turn this the wrong way. Oh, he's paying young girls for sex. And they could completely twist
and
exactly what it is.
Disgusting.
And that's disgusting,
she could be
Marcus.
your daughter, Marcus.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Girls, tell me where you're going to dinner tonight.
Oh, listen to this.
we are going to Cafe Monarch.
On our suggestion, right?
Absolutely.
They should really compensate us over there. They should give you and Trucker a free meal.
They should
give Birthday Girl a free
do
meal.
something, yeah.
Make sure you tell them it's her birthday.
Oh, I
Did you
will
already
tell him. So
It's already taken
They'll
care of.
treat you. They're not going to come out and do any hurrah, but they will treat you extra special.
I invited myself and Trucker along once I heard they're going to Cafe Monarch. I was like, oh, would you like some company? Because Trucker would be happy to foot the bill for the birthday girl and everyone.
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are enjoying. Unfortunately, I got plans tonight, or I would have joined you too, because we love that place. But
next time
we'll have to hear about it. Yeah, so have a great trip up to Sedona. Let us know how it is. And Sage, what'd you think of your first podcast experience?
it was actually a lot of fun. I was really nervous, but not bad at all.
Yeah, Tyler.
I'm honored to be in this room right now.
Well, you know what? I threw you a little bait, and we wound you up, and then you just took off.
Heck yeah.
No, and I really appreciate you guys even like having a podcast like this, because I feel like the way that stigmas and things have been able to transform, even from the Craigslist days that you're talking about and all of that, it's through things like this, opening the conversation and being open to people who, like me, who want to learn, who want to be there for their friend and want to understand more about this really interesting and cool phenomenon and lifestyle. So thanks for teaching me also and bringing me along for the ride.
No, when I heard we were going to have another person here, I actually got really excited because they said that you didn't know much about it. So I'm like, fresh meat. Yeah.
That's what I am.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want to share your crazy sugar dating stories like Sage did, oh my gosh. Still trying to process what we've heard from her, but it's going to make for a great episode. We'd love to hear from you. Go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com. And if you're going to be in the Scottsdale area, hit us up. We'd love to meet our fans. We'll take you to dinner or whatever if you have time. Yeah, we really, really appreciate you guys listening. And you know what, Lily?
What's that?
I got a commission check. It was a whole $15. But I got a commission check today from OMGS. We've been neglecting them. And I'm telling you what, if you guys and gals, if you want to learn how to pleasure a woman properly in a very well done, well produced program that's online, you have access to it anytime. It's interactive. I highly, highly recommend OMGS. We have a link to it on our website. It's at the very top and the bottom. If you click on it there, then we get credit for it. So please go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com, and then click on OMGS. Highly recommend. I need to take that program again because I've probably looked at it like 6-8 times, but
I think Trucker
to
looks
go.
at it when he's bored at work.
yeah. Yeah,
And
they
throw
always
some
they
extra spicy moves
they
in.
add some like new tips, and it's really, really well done. They they show you techniques, and I think about these every time I get intimate with somebody, and just to taking it slow, And then I hear from Alejandra, she's like, "Oh my God, that guy, he was trying to start a fire down there," and it felt so bad, and I'm thinking, he needs to take OMG. Yes, we get it wrong, us men.
Maybe
and
he
lot
was
of
a
women.
Boy Scout working on a badge.
I don't know, but highly, highly recommend that program. Yes, we are an affiliate with them. We'll make a whole $15, but I could not recommend that program more. So go to OMGS on our website. All right, anything else?
I don't think so. I'm really geared up for dinner tonight.
I know, I'm super jealous. You guys, this will be an experience you will never forget. And well, I mean, you've already had a few today, so thank you.
Perfect 30th birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, y'all.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. All right, until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.